Alright, we're back with another Discord League Invitational Losers Bracket Round 1 match between Sandybell and Jokingly. This is a rematch. They had previously played the game to a no conclusion. There was a server error that crashed the game. They could not come to a conclusion as far as which player was going to win that one, so they rescheduled it as a rematch, which is being played out today. Both of these players lost their first match in the Invitational. Jokingly lost to Sir Largeness, another Phoenix player in this tournament. And Sandybell lost to Mind's Desire, the Season 4 champion. Looks like Jokingly won the coin toss and is going second on the first round. Can chat let me know if you can hear me at this point? Yeah, there was a few seconds at the beginning where there was no audio, but I think I resolved it. Alright. Looks like it's a localized issue. So this flop is pretty interesting. We do have the early Iron Mine in favorable ground. Envoy and Satoshi, a pretty good start when you're second player and have the Fate. You could play them both. Tadaka, not really what you want to see on the first turn from Sandybell, although it is still a powerful card if you can stick it for a bunch of turns. Much more likely that we'll see a student and a Tsuki or a mediator even, just to start setting up with some smaller guys and slam the Tadaka down later on in the game. I do think it matters a great deal what's under that Tadaka as far as whether Jokingly can deal with it. Jokingly's deck is running a ton of coverts, 3 skirmishers and 3 tattooed wanderers, so he can go in and make conflicts very hard to defend. One thing that makes Satoshi a really bad play against the Kyuden Isawa is that he is a Shugenja, which is incredibly easy. Or no, he's just good. He's just a courtier. For some reason, I keep thinking Satoshi's a Shugenja, but he isn't, which is very good for Jokingly. Give me a few minutes, guys. I will wake up. We do see the Envoy. Envoy is good. Good start here. Yeah, so we do see the student and the Tsuki. I imagine Sandybell will pass after this. Jokingly plays out both characters, totally fine. Still has a Fate back. It'll be interesting to see for the crab player, Jokingly, how good his Satoshi mill is. That could make a big difference as far as how this first turn and the next few turns do go. Satoshi milling is pretty risky, but if you have Satoshi in your deck and you get him on an early turn, you have to be willing to just use it. So Void Ring is quite good for Jokingly here. He does have the Fate for a covert. Sandybell has to make his decision for the first conflict of the game first, though. Crab's board does pair off pretty well for the first conflict stats-wise. Satoshi can hold off pretty much most attacks on his own. Shrine Maiden coming down, hitting Clarity of Purpose and Cloud the Mind. Milling a second Shrine Maiden. That's a pretty nasty mill. Satoshi gets used and finds the Imperial Palace. Shrine Maiden poking in on military, leaving the stronger political conflict behind. The Water Ring will turn on Suki's ability. Satoshi will get the Shameful Display here to go up to a 4-6. Will we see a Mountain Does Not Fall here? This turn plays out very differently depending on whether he has Mountain or not. He assassinates the Suki, which also impacts the rest of this turn pretty heavily. That's a 3-4 that Sandybell won't have. The Water Ring does still have a good target here in the Envoy. That will change not a whole lot if Wave the Crab is used, as he can just kill the Shrine Maiden, who isn't winning right now anyway. So Jokingly does have something else to use here. I do wonder what it is. It could be Mountain Does Not Fall. That would take him down to 0 fate though. I think he would have snapped that one off if he had it though. I believe it is Sandybell who's thinking here actually. Okay, Jokingly uses the Mountain Does Not Fall. Okay, Charge Tadaka comes in. That does convert this to winning for Sandybell. The Mountain and Assassination being the only targets for his ability, neither one relevant right now. But he is a big old 5-stat beat stick. The Fine Katana in the box is enough to convert this back to winning for Jokingly. And that's it. Well, 6-6 Satoshi is a bit of a monster with Mountain Does Not Fall active. I think jokingly will, poking in here is a little bit risky. You have to pick a ring that you don't get shreked by display of power. Airing is a good choice. You're a little bit low on 7, but it's really nothing to worry about. Jokingly getting a cheeky air ring in there. Draining Sandybell from 11 down to 9 is pretty good for a 1-cost investment that refunds at the end of turn. Does look like Sandybell is going to tie the favor up here. So Phoenix had a really rough turn 1 here. Crab going into turn 2 with 2 characters, keeping that envoy up to threat wave the crab. Seems fine. Ooh, bit of a whiff on the flop here. Although with Satoshi up as a big body, you can probably get those keepers into play, which is pretty darn good. Fushisho across the board has Tadaka as a target, but it's very expensive. Um, we'll have to see. Sandybell also gets another set of good cheap characters to go along with the bird. So he could easily play 2 characters here, or if he has the second charge, get the bird into play that way. That would be ideal, obviously, but he's already down 1 charge. I forgot about the Imperial Palace, which is a silly thing to forget about. Obviously, jokingly wins the favor with that. So yeah, jokingly has nothing to buy, can just pass for fate. If he can navigate this turn, next turn is going to be really great for him, and he looks like he probably will have the tools to get through this turn. Sandybell buying the Naive Student to protect any other investment from Way of the Crab. Sorry about that. Yeah, so buying the Naive Student and the Meddling Mediator here seems fine. The Mediator does start giving you some value if your opponent wants to start making aggressive plays. So both players moderating their bids a little bit. Jokingly goes down to 4 and Sandybell goes down to 3. Jokingly spent more cards on that first round, so he's down 2 cards at this point, even though he bid 1 more. And Crab goes in to try to get that bird away with a political conflict with 6 power skill. Bringing that envoy obviously protects Satoshi from court games, but it does make his plays a little bit less powerful for the rest of the round. Getting those 2 keepers would be very impactful from this Earth conflict. Let's see if Sandybell can protect the break. Miyamoto's Fury would be good here. He already used 1, but he could have drawn another. And he does have 5 skill up to defend this 6 skill coming at him. Taking a quick look at the decks while they think, we do see a pretty standard new Phoenix list here, with the only conflict characters being the Shrine Maidens, which we've already seen 2 of. Katanas, Fans, Cloud the Mines, and a lot of spells and strong events. Crab is running a somewhat unorthodox Dragon Splash. The 3 let goes could be useful against the Cloud the Mines, and the 3 Wanderers will help him be more aggressive as the game goes on. Okay, so Meditations is good here. It makes that Satoshi a little bit more likely to go away at the end of round, but that's all you can really say against Crab with Reprieve and Rebuild into Iron Mine. Sandybell opting to threaten his own aggression this turn as opposed to trying to prevent this conflict. We'll have to see what he has to see if that makes much sense here. Obviously, Display of Power would prevent the keepers from coming out. With a play like this, you have to assume that's coming. Watch Commander comes down to punish that a little bit. Sandybell would lose 2 honor, 1 from unopposed, 1 from display. Or 1 from Watch Commander on the display. Miyamoto's Fury comes down on the Satoshi. That does protect the Envoy, or that does protect the Meditations from the break. Now there's no skill, so the Earth Ring is not currently even being claimed. Yeah, the chat pointing out that not defending here is also good in light of the fact that Crab is playing a bunch of policy debates. You really could be walking into Crab's game plan if you try to defend this, and if you have that second Fury, which he did have, this seems like a much safer approach to getting through this conflict. Ooh, a second of the 3rd Watch Commander. So we see 2 of the 3 Watch Commanders come down on 0 fate characters. That's very expensive. It does move the ring back to being contested successfully, so it would be claimed if it was 1 here, and the Display of Power would lead to 2 honor loss for Sandybell, bringing him down to 5. It's an interesting play, very expensive, very aggressive. Let's see if he gets anything for it. Okay, Fan coming down, so it looks like we're gonna try to see a break here. Very, very expensive and inefficient. Spending at court games as well. Alright, so if this does bring the keepers out, this could still be worth it for Jokingly. If it doesn't bring the keepers out, it feels a bit expensive. And it's not going to bring the keepers out. Yeah, that did cost jokingly a skirmisher as well from the Earth Ring. Let's see if he can keep any of these characters around. Obviously that makes this play a little bit less risky, but he'll have to play into Let Go to keep them around with Reprieve. The rebuild might be a safer plan. This does move him up to 1 breaks versus 0, but it does kind of look like Phoenix is going to get at least 1 break here. With that bird in the discard pile, it seems pretty likely that it's just going to be 1 break. Though that third Shrine Maiden finds an Against the Waves. So Sandybell's drawn 3 cards from his Shrine Maidens. Bonsai would have been good to draw here, but he has no way to actually do that. He could have one in hand already. He's been through half his deck. Bonsai not enough to break this Fertile Fields on its own. Let's see if this is just a poke, probably just looking to see what's under the Imperial Palace for the stronger attack later in the round. With jokingly not getting the keepers into play, this turn looks very different. Okay, it looks like we are seeing the Way of the Crab. Was it a mistake? Or is Sandybell thinking? Yeah, Sandybell is thinking. This is a tough choice because he might have been looking to honor the naive student to make his next attack a lot stronger. And also regain some honor at end of round. If he kills that with Way of the Crab, his next attack is a lot weaker. It makes it pretty hard to break Imperial Palace. If he kills the Shrine Maiden, he's not threatening a conflict anymore. That still might be a good choice, though. Yeah, Joe in chat saying this is a very good use of Way of the Crab. I agree. It makes Sandybell's turn a lot harder, even though you're not blowing out a big character. In high-level games like this one, where both of these players are very accomplished, if you just wait to use Way of the Crab for when it's a huge blowout card, most of the time it's just going to be a dead card. So Sandybell is already down to 0 conflict characters remaining. He did get 3 draws off his Shrine Maidens, which is pretty sick. But jokingly has 5 more conflict characters in his deck, so he has a lot more ability to flash in characters to make conflicts difficult. Sandybell chooses Shrine Maiden, which I think is correct. The Fire Ring doesn't do a heck of a lot if you um, don't have that naive student anymore. And this 5-skill political attack is still pretty good. If he has court games or a fan, could still potentially break Fertile Fields. Yeah, we see one of those 5 conflict characters come down in the form of Faruma Skirmisher, so there will be no defender for this attack. It's a bit of an interesting attack in that it gives Sandybell the opportunity to steal a fate or an honor, both of which are relevant right now. Also, the one fate on the Skirmisher is interesting. Maybe he has his second Way of the Crab already. Slapping into public forum with the Void Ring seems fine. Yeah, if you cause all the Phoenix's characters to leave again with the Skirmisher up next round, that threatens Way of the Crab pretty effectively again. So seems like a good use of a fate when you have so much. Yeah, so unless Sandybell does some pretty inefficient stuff here, he's going down to 4 honor here. Can he even stop it at all with the favor? I'm not sure. Yeah, so Mediator likely to be used to... It's actually an interesting question whether Fate is more relevant or Honor. He might be in a board position where he has to go for the Fate. Here's the moment of truth. Will the fertile fields break? Jokingly does have the favorable grounds to move the Watch Commander into the conflict, which could bleed Sandybell out some more honor. Right now with Standing Glory they're tied on the favor, so that goes in Jokingly's favor as he's currently holding it. A lot in this game hinges on whether or not Jokingly can stick around his Satoshi. The rebuild has almost no play around if Sandybell... Yeah, it has no play around this round from Sandybell. The reprieves, he could have let goes for those. Okay, an arrowing in to defend the wall. If he wins, they'll still be tied on favor. We do see the favorable ground move the Satoshi into the conflict, so now any play will drain honor from Sandybell. If he has clarity of purpose, he would win the favor if another skirmisher doesn't come down. Okay, so assassination number 2. That's pretty impactful here. and a Wanderer to claim the ring. That was pretty crab. So we see the reprieve attempted. Do we see the let go? Okay, we see let go number 1. Do we see rebuild following up the reprieve? Okay, no, nothing. So jokingly keeps some weenies. Sandybell for another round keeps nothing. Crab just crabbing hard. I don't understand the 2 fate on the Wanderer though. It is a blank text box 2-1. I think if he was at like 10 fate here, he could pretty easily buy both Satoshi and the Witch Hunter. With 1 holding, the Guardian's a pretty good buy, and with these characters, I think Witch Hunter Guardian is a great turn. Sandybell, I mean, his characters are good. As a first player, it's even better, but his board's going to be anemic compared to Jokingly. This seems like a decent way to crab, but we don't see it. Sandybell keeps 4 fate back, so he could have some decent spells that would help him have some impact this turn. But Jokingly's board is much higher in skill, and they both have to bid 1 from basically now on. I guess that does go in Sandybell's favor with the Forgotten Library up for this round and the much, much larger hand. So it's not all in Jokingly's favor, but the current board state is pretty nasty. Yeah, this would not be a fun way to crab this around either. He could just be waiting for more investment to go into these 2 characters, although I guess he only has 3 cards left. Jokingly, that is. With the wider board here for Jokingly, he could be looking to push some unopposed to get that honor victory. He has to watch out for display of power, so going for the honor related rings could backfire. All credit to the previous comment goes to Joe from Cincinnati, I guess. Interesting, walking the way to get a second keeper initiate. Probably looking for a charge target there. Did not find it. He's gonna go in water first with the Adept of the Waves, coverting out Satoshi most likely. Will he bring both of the characters and Clarity of Purpose? Water doesn't do a lot as a ring effect here because Jokingly very adeptly faded his characters in such a way that it is not very impactful. Oh man, this just looks so nasty as a way of the crab. Oh, we found Karada District. That is turn of the knife. He's got no fate right now, but he can get it on his attack. That Karada does make the Hida Guardian's ability +4/+4. The Stronghold also gives him a lot of skill on defense. And jokingly has the political favor, so it will take more card play out of Sandybell to win this. Yeah, and this ring is essentially blank, unless you want to count the 1 dash. So we do see the double defend, so on board, jokingly will win if he uses the Guardian and the box. Changing his mind. Alright, no defense here. Does not care. We're seeing a card played here. Yep, it is the Clarity of Purpose. Sandybell getting his 2 keepers first here. And honoring Suki. So we're seeing a poke here with the fire ring to get the fate. Way the crab is no longer a good use. Dishonoring the anything is good with Sandybell on a low amount of fate, or honoring your Satoshi, likely more impactful. Forcing a defend here just to not have as much to worry about on his next defense. I don't think with 3 cards into 9 cards you can ever expect to win this, so I guess it's just a matter of what disruption we see out of Sandybell. Sandybell's got a pretty great debater here in the form of that adept. We are seeing a card used here. It is policy debate, 4-1. Yeah, one bids from both, as I would expect. That hand's pretty okay. So Sandybell's got like a billion outs here. He's got Storm, um, and then Box. He's got his own bonsais. He's got swords, that kind of stuff. Sword doesn't do it on its own, but I have to imagine he's got a chance at defending this pretty well. Yeah, quite a solid chance at defending this. The next attack is a lot bigger though. But it is political, so the bonsais at least won't help you in that. Alright, so he's walking the way. He's got that charge, and he is looking for a target. So I'm guessing he saw something interesting, but nothing mind-blowing, as it's taking him some time to make his choice here. Well, he did find the Tadaka, that's pretty good. Skill-wise, obviously he'd rather see the bird at this point. Get the Tadaka for next turn. Jokingly only has the 1x. But yeah, mountain. Tadaka does increase the strength of your supernatural storm, if you have it. Mountain can't be played currently. You have 6 skill into a lot of skill. Nine. So Sandybell's got a difficult choice here. He can swing in with Adept of the Waves, potentially get a break here if Jokingly doesn't want to defend. Um, Depending on what cards he has in hand, he could even defend. He probably has a pretty solid chance at defending if he doesn't attack. He's also counting 8 for the favor, whereas Crab with the Palace even is only counting 6. Wow, standing Tadaka. What is there to think about? So this is an attack of strength 6. Crab's got 6 showing, or 5 showing. And that's all he's got. So with the Cloud the Mind, he has no risk of losing the conflict on the snapback. With the attack here, he's also guaranteed to win. Um, Obviously wins the favor if any defense comes out here. Maybe even if it does. Meditations, yeah, not so bad. Resets one of your keepers when you're probably going to want to resolve the water ring again with the characters that you have next round. Yeah, air ring good. He's going to go back up to 5. Yeah, no defense here, and it's a break. Defend here, and it might be a break. No reason not to defend, thanks to the fact that the adept is standing back to block your attack back in. Any card from any card from Sandybell here. The box does not stop the break. Choosing to take the honor instead, I guess he could win with dishonor as well. So Kasada coming down here, the dupe coming out on Suki. The Adept of the Waves ability is decent as a Kasada burner. The Stronghold also can burn Kasada. Prodigy of the Waves, you probably don't want to burn Kasada with that, but you could. So Jokingly does have the ability to attack first here. He does draw 2 into 1. just looking to get another card, which seems legit since you have a one card revealed hand um, at this stage. Charge number 3 on Tadaka would be pretty bad at this point. Bonsai, Way of the Crab, Assassination, Court Games, Mountain, all being played already. But we are only halfway through the decks about, so not particularly likely. Yeah, so Jokingly doesn't attack here. So what do you look like on defense political? You look pretty bad, right? Um, yeah, you look pretty awful on defense against political here. So maybe you need to try to do something with your first conflict here on your military, just to force some inefficient character usage from Sandybell. But I'm not sure. At least this way, your first defensive conflict, Kasada, is still online. If you attack and lose, you'd be offline for your first defense. But it seems like Adept of the Waves can covert at choice, and then you've got basically no defense. Box is good if you go all in on your defense, but is that worth it? There's a lot more stats here politically from Sandybell. Yeah, so with the box stood back up, the Against the Wave or Supernatural Storm is online, Against the Waves is online, Clarity of Purpose is online. That's like the big three. So this attack is probably going to be pretty huge. Yeah, so Prodigy Adept going in politically, um, coverting Satoshi. That would put 7 political on board if there's an all-in defense. Alright, 6, 10. Okay, this looks like 13 skill politically. Which is enough to break against the 7 on board. Alright, so he held back the Prodigy. So the Prodigy is the best military attacker, I suppose. So he could defend on military and swing in. So it looks like we are gonna see the 7. Could be 8, or it could be 9 with another Wanderer. If this doesn't break, he can't lose on Conquest this round. But just the storm from discard moves this into breaking. Alright, so he's not going for the break. I suppose if you go in with overwhelming force, you don't have to all in block if you can't stop the break anyway. So it could have been a different set of defenders if he did bring the Prodigy. We see the Sentry canceling mountain does not fall. It's the first Sentry we've seen. So 3 unknown cards in hand for Jokingly. You would need 2 cards to even start to be winning. Possible that Sandybell doesn't want to burn a card to Casada here. Could be why he's not going for the break. Seems legitimate. Prodigy on its own has a pretty decent chance of breaking with the military conflict. Or Prodigy with the 2 keeper initiates. Yeah, so this attack will break on military with the supernatural storm and discard um, unless Jokingly has bonsai number 3 or sword. He's only got 2 swords and 2 bonsai, so only sword number 2. And Phoenix has used only 1 let go. So this is pretty likely to break with the known information. Alright, so he does get the debate off, so we see the Karmic Twist, interesting. Policy debate, clarity display. Yeah, take the display. Alright, so that leaves clarity, purpose, Karmic Twist, and policy debate. So you do see the supernatural storm. So we're looking pretty much for sword number 2. Sword number 2 or wanderer or skirmisher, but none of that's sufficient. Well, not skirmisher. Alright, so we're seeing a charge here. Alright, so we wanted to see the last card, which was a let go. This is gonna be pretty nasty. That was really... everything but Casada is gone now. So yeah, there's really no rush. Alright, so what do you want as Crab here? Crabs in chat, let me know. Guardian seems efficient enough. If you put all the bodies out you can, which is probably what you need to do to not just die, that's Guardian and Satoshi. Satoshi's ability is basically dead, so it's just a 2/4 courtier. Guardian is 3/3 in stats, so it's not bad, but double adept of the waves and Tadaka across the table is pretty just bad. Yeah, after seeing that void, the Satoshi dupe is brutal. Yeah, so playing the Tadaka and passing. Are there any events that Crab even has that haven't had one played yet? Rebuild, surprisingly enough. Welcome to Hell. Tadaka in the second half of the game. So this is 13, 14. Yeah, 14 with the favor. Looks like we're not going to see a water ring because he didn't use the covert. He's probably going to use the adept to pop Casada's ability then, if he's not using it pre-conflict. Okay, so he is going water. He doesn't have any scholars to honor with Suki. But it does turn on Prodigy, and he has Adept of the Waves to soak the Casada if he wants to play cards in here, like maybe Clarity of Purpose, or we do know 2 of his cards, right? Yeah, the Karmic Twist and the Clarity of Purpose are known. If he wants to resolve those, he can use that up to the waves to cancel Casada. Right now he's just passing with the break going through, I think. Unless he wants to leave one of these guys up standing. Crab's at 10, or sorry, 9 with the box, which would be enough to stop breaking. And he does get another card off of Fertile Fields. Okay, so he burns a Stronghold to burn Casada. That feels wrong. I'm gonna call that one a mistake. I don't see why you don't use Adept. Yeah, honoring Prodigy to get that 5/5 seems great. Well, we see the clarity on the Adept of the Waves. I suppose you're not getting attacked with political, so it doesn't matter hugely. So his draw from the turn was court game. Seems pretty good. So the box here from Jokingly is going to be Rally to the Cause, and he's not going to be able to flip it. Yeah, so going in with the house is 5, 10, 12, minus 7 is 5, which is 2 off breaking. His hand is known to be clarity of purpose and basically 2 potatoes. Yeah, it might end up mattering that he doesn't have Cuden up. Yeah, so I think if he clarity of purposed on Suki and he burned the Adept of the Waves um, instead of his box, there'd be absolutely no way to stop this attack, basically. You can force the block, though, so nothing's coming back at you with 0 Fate. I wonder what's taking so long. Firing's pretty interesting here. I guess he recognizes he's going to next round and wants to dishonor Satoshi with the Adept of the Waves leaving play. Or honor Suki or Tadaka, that's fine too. Alright, twisting Fate from the Keeper Initiate to the Adept of the Waves, that's a big deal, that's a lot more stats. Also puts your Keeper Initiates back on cycle, so you can bring both back with 1 conflict. Crab's board looks decent though. His honor is a problem, his fate is a problem, his hand is a problem. Though Phoenix is now down to 1 card, so both hands are tiny. Shoichi is a decent find. Yeah, I have to think Shoichi's a decent find. Solemn Scholar is not really what you want here. Yeah, Adept of the Waves is what you want. You just want to swing in, pop Stronghold with Covert. Alright, yeah, both players want to draw some cards here. Jokingly bidding 2, Sandybell bidding 3, so they're both on 4 cards now. I think Jokingly's hand is probably closer to an effective size of like 2 with the Tadaka out there. Alright, so Tadaka makes this pretty much a lot easier to math out for Sandybell. If Jokingly pulls this off somehow, oh god, Cloud on Kasada. Can't be let go thanks to Tadaka. This will turn on Solemn Scholar if Sandybell wins. So we do see the second Katana. It's the last Katana in the deck, bringing it to 3-3. We see Fury number 3. So the fact that he didn't go water here means we're going to see a triple covert attack at the stronghold. Which seems pretty gnarly. So Solemn Scholar is on, Tadaka is on, Kasada is not, thanks to Cloud the Mind. No holdings for Guardian, who's bowed anyway. Shoichi can't be coverted, at least. That's something. Okay, now Satoshi can't be coverted. Do we see a let go for that? So we see 9 defense on board for Crab. $19 for Phoenix. 2 cards for Crab, I don't think he gets there. Yeah, is it. He mills himself with Satoshi. Maybe thinking he had something in there that he does not, like a favorable ground. That's a GG. Wow, what a game. So Sandybell does get the win on the rematch. Jokingly is out of the Invitational. And Sandybell moves on to face Heinzel in the next round of the losers bracket, which will be a Scorpion versus Phoenix, which is a very interesting matchup now with Cloud the Mind and Tadaka being very prominent cards. Well played to both players. It's a shame that Crab is out of the Invitational now. All the players very impressive in this tournament. It's a shame to see him out so early. We'll have more games for you guys later. I'm not sure there's any more today, but plenty more coming this week. Thanks to our sponsor, Luxury Playstyle, and see you guys all in the future.